I remember how the journey started when I visited Reverend Bodams in his church when he was a former reverend with Ekwa at Marabarido before he moved to his own church called Atmosphere of Glory. Reverend Bodams was a man of God who God used so much in my life and made me discover that all I needed was just God. Now, when he guided me through fasting and prayers, he guided me through reading the scripture. Now that's where he gave me a scripture that I could never forget. That's the book of Psalms chapter 1 verse 1 to 6. Now that scripture kept reading in my heart. Anytime I opened the Bible, I always believed that that is all I needed. Now, I have never seen God before. I have never tasted. I only believe that I was just existing. I was never living. I could remember staying in my cousin's house and the family were like, no, you're better off in the village. You can't stay in Kaduna. I was like, no, why can I, as a graduate, continue staying in the village? And when I have a future in the city as a graduate, no. I remember how much I could fall, and today I will promise, oh, I have stopped drinking, I've stopped smoking, and all of a sudden I had a slogan that I would tell people whenever they ask me, oh, can you just drink again? I'll be like, one day will not kill me. And I want to have a taste again. All of a sudden, I find out that the more I try to drink or smoke, the more disappointment comes my way. People kept rejecting me to that point where I found out that, okay, I needed more help until God directed me again to Reverend Nehemiah, who only just told me to go back to the church where I left in Goningora and Kaduna to say, just go back to your old church. I didn't know why he asked me to go back there. I went back there, but I never saw it coming until all of a sudden, the man of God prophesied and told me that God is going to restore everything you have ever lost. I didn't know how God does his things. I believed that I was just living. So there was no need for me to believe anything. But I only know that there's a God somewhere. And I believe that if God can just let his light just shine on me, even though it's just for a second, I believe that his name will always be glorified. So I didn't know how to go about it, but I kept holding on to him in different ways. Now the shame and disgrace kept coming in. Now people kept capitalizing on my drunkenness, my addiction on alcohol and on smoking. Now, I have gone through different places looking for help. Everywhere I visited was to either gain help from those people I was visiting. I remember going to Akwa Ibom State to actually be part of their masquerade society just because I needed, if they could even in a way help me in their local way. I remember going to Cherubim and Seraphim looking for help. I remember going to Mountain of Fire. I remember going to different places looking for help, but no help was coming until I went to a mosque when I asked that, did they know any imam that can just help me talk to these things, as in just help me out? And nobody was able to help out. Then all of a sudden, something just kept coming into me until when God visited me in a special way. Now that special way is actually comes to play when, as an individual, I told myself the truth that this is not the life I chose for myself. Because I could not imagine a graduate like me sitting in a gogoro shop from morning till night, waiting for who will come and buy ogogoro for me or a stick of cigarette. I remember vividly well when I could sit down there and people will say, have you eaten today? Like, that was my only source of livelihood. I remember those days where I could just go around selling pure water just to see myself survive. And I remember people looking at me and said, look at him, this one is finished. And people will laugh at me and make jest of me. I had a show where I created my own event, and I remember when my friend who I gave the show to will use me as a joke. People will make fun of me. If I visit the event, he will say, here he comes, MC Bali. One time popular MC, but look at how Bali has turned to Guguru.